Hey guys, what is going on? Anthony here with Pistons Talk. Hope you guys are having a great evening so far. What I wanted to do in tonight's video was react to this Bleacher Report article talking about 3-year windows, and it got me thinking, as Pistons fans, ever since this rebuild had started in 2020 with Troy Weaver and company, we've always talked about timeline. And this is a timeline article, kind of like a 3-year window article where a national media company sees your Detroit Pistons. So we're going to react to it, give you guys our final thoughts, and where will the Pistons be in 3 years? Let's get into it. So your Detroit Pistons are sitting at 26 on this list. So some teams that the Pistons were above, you have the Chicago Bulls, the Brooklyn Nets, Washington Wizards, and Portland Trailblazers. They think a 3-year outlook, Detroit is going to be ahead of all of those teams. Now, like we mentioned at the top of the video, the Pistons officially have started the rebuild in 2020. I know some fans have some revisionist history. They thought that we started to rebuild when we traded Chauncey Billups, but hey, man, we officially actually tanked and started rebuilding when Troy Weaver got the town in 2020. But let's see what Bleacher Report does have to say about your Detroit Pistons and kind of like a 3-year outlook of where they could see this team. Organizational impatience could demand the Pistons to climb the ladder. 5 consecutive seasons of bagging 23 or fewer victories can do that to a franchise. For the time being, at least, the Pistons seem prepared to resist that win-now temptation. Even someone as involved and itchy as a team governor, Tom Gores doesn't overturn the front office and dismisses a recently hired head coach without understanding the organizational recalibration is going to take time. Sure, the Pistons have acquired various veterans, but that's more about increasing the operating room for Kate Cunningham and their directional pull star. Okay, so there's a couple of things to get into with the first couple of sentences with this section of the Detroit Pistons in their article. I think organizational impatience, we could literally have a podcast about that, but I'll just kind of skim through it. I think the Pistons have been very impatient since Tom Gores has purchased the team. They've tried to go for home run head coaching hires, hasn't worked. They've tried to trade for win-now stars, kind of blew up in their face, even though I really liked Blake Griffin during his time here in Detroit. I think a lot of you guys did too. But I think just the organizational impatience we can all just kind of sympathize with 100%. They go on to say, for the time being at least, Pistons seem prepared to resist that win-now temptation. I hope so. I really hope so that's the case, because you look at the core, you like Cade, Ivy, I think a lot of you guys like, Duran, you guys like Asar, Ron Holland, Bobby Klitman. Like, there's some nice pieces on this team. It's just right now the Pistons are in a position where they have to see which pieces are going to be here long term. They have to figure out which pieces are going to be part of that team that gets out of the 23 or fewer victories, actually, puts a successful season together where they're competing for play-in spots. They're competing for top 6 seeds in the Eastern Conference or even more. You never know. I think, trying to do that win-now stuff, I don't really think the Pistons are in a position to do that again. I know some people wanted Zach LaVine this past season. Some people wanted Brandon Ingram. But it's just like we've kind of been down that road before, and it kind of blew up in our face. And who's to say it couldn't do it again? I think that's kind of the right approach for the Detroit Pistons. Now, they do go on to mention Tom Gores being involved. Obviously, Monty Williams was not Troy Weaver's choice. He wasn't Arn Tellem's choice. It was Tom Gores' choice. And Tom Gores gave him all that money and then decided, okay, we need a new head coach because this one obviously isn't working. He's taking the bullet. He's biting the bullet. He's going to be paying Monty for the next couple of seasons. And we bring in J.B. Bickerstaff, who did not need to be bribed to take another head coaching job here with Detroit. They also go on to say, to talk about this team a little bit more, that Detroit has intriguing talent. They talk about Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, Jaden Ivey, and Jalen Duran. There's a lot of young talent on this team. There really is. And I think what we're going to see this season and the 2 seasons following is the Pistons are going to have to make some choices on these guys. But you have accumulated a lot of young talent in the lottery, in the top 5, and trading for guys like Jalen Duren and Marcus Sasser and others. I think within the next 3 years, I'd hope to see this team stack good seasons in the win column, and there's progression. I'm not saying within the next 3 years this team is going to be an NBA Finals contender, but I think within the next 3 years, I'd assume your Detroit Pistons are going to be a team in the Eastern Conference that is fighting and competing for playoff spots, whether that's 8 seeds, 7 seeds, 6 seeds, 5 seeds. Because this team is going to get better. I know we just had that 14-win season, 17 wins the year before, but you brought in a new president. You saw within one off season, he's surrounding Cade Cunningham with shooters like a Malik Beasley, like a Tim Hardaway Jr., bringing in a vet like Tobias Harris, claiming a guy like Paul Reed off of waivers. Trajan Langdon obviously has an eye for talent, and he knows what he needs to get done. He's a very smart basketball mind. I don't want to say that like I'm sipping the Pistons Kool-Aid right now, but I could definitely see this team being a Eastern Conference playoff threat within the next couple of seasons. I think this season is going to be an evaluation season, but the next 2 seasons, I could really see this team taking that next step to getting back into the playoffs. And I know Pistons fans, we have just been through just so much up and downs over the years, but that's what I'm feeling though within the next 3 years. I thought this article was fun because so many of us talk about timelines. We talk about futures. We talk about our favorite players, whether it's Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland. It's a really fun conversation. I want to know what you guys think, though. Where do you think within the next 3 seasons the Detroit Pistons are going to be? Do you think they are going to be Eastern Conference playoff threats to make the playoffs each and every year? Or do you think that this team may get blown up because the pieces really don't fit together stylistically? But let me know down below in the comment section. I will talk to you guys down there. Like always, hope you guys are staying safe. Take care. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.